What is going on, everybody? Today we are going to talk about what has happened at Cold Steel since GSM Outdoors has bought them out. Let me know down in the comments if I miss out on any key points of what may have not have happened. I am specifically talking about really just the Tanto aspect of Cold Steel, which I feel is a very, very important aspect of Cold Steel, since that's the blade that they really were founded on. But that's where I'm coming from. So if you guys got any key points that you saw something different from a different blade or whatever that came out that was pretty sketchy, just let me know down in the comments and we can update that later on. So what have I seen? I think we've seen a lot of different knives come out. I think the Oyabun liner lock knife, I think it was just realistically just not a cold steel knife when you're talking about like the Recon 1. It just way out there for cold steel to go in that direction, but they did. And let's be honest, was it really a cold steel knife? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also came out with the verdict. Pretty nice knife. I think it should have been called the Recon Mini, Recon 1 Mini. Like the Recon 1 Mini that they came out with really didn't look like a Recon 1. I don't even know where that knife is at. It's around, kicking around here somewhere. I got knives everywhere. But I think that the verdict, I think, really should have been the Recon Mini. It really has pretty much, like I said, almost identical footprint, just smaller. But that's just my opinion. What stood out me was the AD10 Tanto. Why this knife wasn't done sooner is beyond me. There's a lot of reason to believe that Andrew Demko is just not a huge fan of Tantos. I think that is really what has been proven over time. He hasn't really come out and said that he doesn't particularly want to do them. He does do customs that are Tantos. I see them from time to time, and they're super expensive. But this knife, which I have both versions of, the light version and the standard version, they are very cold steel. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. I think there could have been maybe a little more texturing for grip, such as like the Recon ones got a little bit better texture on them for holding them in the hand. But let me tell you, I don't know why they haven't done this sooner. Except for, like I said, the fact that maybe Demko just really didn't want to do them. And it was just a design that kind of sat on the back burner, and GSM said, fire it up, let's do it. We'll take that chance. So I don't know what the sales have been. We don't always see that. But I think that's a knife that should have came in a lot sooner instead of later. One of the other things that really stood out to me was when this Recon 1 came out with the FDE version. The blade is a very kind of matte finish, where we are used to having more of a very satin black blade. A lot of people really came out talking about, is the dull version going to be the new texture for all the blades? We haven't really seen that, but the Recon 1s have been scarce. Production lines since the pandemic and everything else have really thrown a lot of things for loop, so we don't know if that had something to affect with the production lines, or maybe they were treading a ground, and maybe it's cheaper to do the duller version. Maybe they were seeing what the response would be in the big picture of things. It's hard to say. Again, those are backroom talks. Another thing that stood out, we did see the blister packs start to come in. And that's where the Engage came in with a blister pack. I know a lot of guys that really irks them. But yeah, we have to understand that Walmart and stores like that sell knives in blister packs, they sell them thousands and thousands all the time. They are flying off the shelf way quicker than anything else. And besides, Cold Steel, what was their packaging? A cardboard box. I don't see anything. I don't think that's any way to judge necessarily, again, what a knife brand is or isn't as far as packaging. We throw it in the garbage most of the time. Again, and then of course with this knife, came with the new lock, the Atlas lock. Now, I certainly have some opinions with this lock, as you will see in a video coming up very soon against the Demco Shark lock. I definitely have some opinions on that, and that will be up in a video coming up very soon, so make sure you don't miss that video. But I think that in concept, the lock design is nice. I think it's a interesting step for them to go in, and it's interesting. I think it still has some improvements as far as smoothness goes. That's the only thing that one of the things that I can kind of complain about, but there's others, and you will see that, like I said, in the video coming up. But that was definitely another forte that they moved into, is moving into a new locking system, which seems pretty sturdy, seems pretty sturdy the way it's set up and the way it kind of forks through your pins in the back of the blade. And there's plenty of videos out there that you guys can go watch that disassemble them, and you can see how it works. But it seems very strong, seems very Cold Steel-esque as far as that goes. Is the older lock design, new lock design, which one's better? Again, this is a small knife. I mean, it's not a Recon 1. This is a big knife when you want to do big jobs. But if you're looking for a nice EDC knife, well, I think the lock for this fits it, and I think the lock for this fits it when you need aggressive and you've got a big blade. And I have this one, you can actually see scratches on it. I've beat this knife specifically to see how the coating would hold up. So let's take a look at that real quick. So here we are. I have wedged this thing into aluminum sheet to do some prying, and that blade edge held up great. Still has the fine tip on it, and like I said, it was into aluminum bracing for a placard holder, and it looked a lot gnarlier until I cleaned it and really dug into it. But that's all that really happened from wedging itself down into an aluminum bracket to pry out a placard that I needed to take off my tractor trailer truck one day, and I was getting really frustrated. And and then when you get frustrated, it comes down to using the knife and getting sometimes even abusive. But that's all it really sustained for damage. Like I said, didn't even bother the edge or anything like that, and it held up really good. So it's a strong coating. So, and while we're at the close-ups, as you can see too, you can definitely see the difference in the textures of the blades, the shininess and then the dullness of the newer version. Again, is that going to be the new direction? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say which way they're gonna go. Like I said, we've seen everything kind of very much do all kinds of 180s. Like I said, coming out with the AD10 finally. I mean, how long has the AD10 been out in the standard blade? I mean, it's been out forever. Here you guys go. Just a few little things that I have seen and changes. Some pretty cool, some maybe not, depending on your opinion. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have seen, what you've experienced. Like I said, I have bought a lot of different knives. This isn't even all of them since the bio. And as far as workmanship, the quality has been really good. It's still holding up. There doesn't seem like there's a lot of corners being cut necessarily, something that is very common. I think GSM is being smart. I think they're also taking their time. Maybe the pandemic also kind of affected things too. So maybe they weren't even able to move into some of the things that they wanted to do because of supply chain issues or whatever. So maybe we haven't seen everything yet, but up till now, I can't really say there's been any extreme negatives. Things seem to be holding up pretty good. Lynn Thompson still pops in from time to time and does videos for Cold Steel. So he still has some activity. They got another signature Coburn coming up or something, and they got some other signature knives coming out. So he's still somewhat active with the company. Again, whether or not he really has any say, who knows? But as of right now, we haven't seen anything super negative. So we'll see where it goes from there. Like I said, let me know in the comments if I've missed out on anything. And we will see you guys next time. Have a great day.